Y'all know how it is, man, when you come across someone you know from the streets when you were locked up. Whether it's a homeboy of yours or just someone from the same exact neighborhood. For this video here, I'm going to be telling you about a time where someone from my neighborhood was held hostage inside of my dorm by one of my homeboys while I was in prison over a pair of boots that came up stolen. Haha, I'm the best. Finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga. Yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with locks. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2 comes violent, first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone, I'm a charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be dropping some more real spill. And I'm going to be telling y'all a story that's kind of funny to me, you know, but I know it wasn't funny to the person who was involved. Okay? Now, anytime you find yourself locked up, you come across someone that you know from the streets, whether they're from the same area, same block, same location, or someone you ran into locked up somewhere else or any of that, it's kind of, you know, it puts you in a tight situation, you know, because it ain't your job, you know, to protect them. You're not entitled, you know, it ain't like you have to, you know, but at the same time, you want to keep it real on your end, and you want to try to help that person out as much as you can. So for this one here, I'm going to be talking about someone that was from my neighborhood. He actually caught 15 years in prison, but I'm going to give y'all a little background on him first. You know, so that way you get more of a feel about this individual, about this guy, right? Now, when I was young, when I was a little kid, you know, when I first started smoking weed and stuff like that, coming up, this person was actually one of the plugs in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? He was the one that had that gas. He was that go-to if you wanted that exotic. Back when they had regs and they had crippy, you know what I'm saying? And everybody knew him. He was the plug when it came to the flower, you know, to the bud. So I knew him and shit like that. I remember going to his house, buying, you know, little nickel bags and dime bags of bud from him and stuff when I was younger. He ended up catching a 5-year sentence. This was the first time he went to prison. So when he went to prison, did the 5 years. When he came back, he was all swole, cock diesel, you know, kind of like you see in the movies, you know, stuff like that. But he wasn't the same. He was no longer a hustler. You know, he didn't carry himself like he was on the money side anymore. He actually carried himself like he was on the baser side, like he liked to get high, you know. And I say baser because I'm talking about severe drugs, you know. I'm not talking about weed like what he was once pushing. I'm talking about severe drugs. So now he ended up being like a baser in my neighborhood, you know. I pull up to the corner store late night. He'd be out there with a gas card begging me, man, what's up, man? Just give me a dub, man. I'll fill your whole tank. I'll fill your whole tank up for a dub, bro. I got a gas card. And I remember pulling up a bunch of times and stuff like that, and he'd have a whole line of people. You know what I'm saying? There might be some hoes I'm talking to in the parking lot, and I'd be like, shit, hey, what's up? For 40, I'll fill your tank. You know, I'd pocket a dub off each one of them females. He'd be out there filling that bitch with the gas cards. You know, everybody know he was a baser. He was a smoker. He smoked dope. He went from selling bud to smoking dope. And when I say dope, I mean hard. Crack cocaine, okay? Now, I ran into him a couple times while I was locked up. You feel me? And I ran into him in the county, you know. He was so happy to see me. I gave him some food and shit, but I knew he was just going to go try to buy something to smoke with it, whether it was cigarettes, tunchi, whatever it may be. He was going to just try to get high with it. So I ended up running into him later on down the line again while I was in prison. All right, now when I ran into him in prison, I was up at the time. You feel me? It was kind of like, what I mean by up is when he got there, when I finally ran into him, you know, I was that dude on the compound, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody respected me, everybody fought with me. I had several phones. I had money coming in from all types of directions. I could go to confinement and lay down for 30 to 60 days, and I'd make more money in confinement than I would on the compound. Because the reason for that is on the compound, you're spending money. You got things that you want to buy and you want to swap and trade out and different shit like that. So I would have went to the box and laid down for 60 days and would have just reeled in nothing but the bread the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So I would have saved by being in confinement. At this time, I was doing real good. You feel me? So When he came to the camp and I seen him, I was like, damn, dog, I hope he don't expect me to, to take care of him, because I'm not finna carry him. I'm not finna make sure he's straight his whole bid. I'm not finna feed him his entire bid. He's a grown man. He's older than me. But, we had that kind of bond, like he remembered me when I was younger, and I remember him when I was younger. You feel me? But he wasn't one of the ones that was, like, in my circle, in my neighborhood, like, to where, he was part of our clique or anything like that. He's just the one you'd see up there panhandling and hustling in front of the corner stores, or you'd see him in the back of the neighborhood buying him some dope and shit, So when I first seen him, I embraced him. I said, what's up, what I'm saying? Gave him a couple dollars, you feel me? But I told him, don't be getting used to this shit now. I ain't finna take care of your whole bid. He was telling me how he caught 15 years, right? But I knew the way he carried himself. He had them basic mentalities. He talked like he was a smoker. He carried himself like he was one. I'm pretty sure y'all have an idea in your mind of the type of individual that I'm breaking down to you. Somebody or seen somebody that is just like that. Even if they're not on dope at the time, they still have that mentality and carry themselves like they once was. So I knew he was having a problem to where he'd always want to get high. So, I'd shoot him text messages to his peoples. He'd come down to my side of the compound. He'd always ask me to send him messages. And, I would do that. I got you. But I'm not giving you no money. You feel me? I blessed him when he first came just because, I'm happy to see someone from my area here. But at the same time, I'm not finna take care of my whole bid, all right? And, at the end of the day, it doesn't really look right, because here I'm white. He was a black dude from my neighborhood, So, anytime somebody looks, and the way it is in prison, if you see a white person giving something over to a black person, they might feel like that white person's sweet, like he's making them break it off, he's extorting them, whatever it was. Even though people knew that wasn't what it was with me, but they'd still be like, damn, why is he paying this person? And then they find out he's a baser, he's a smoker. They're going to be like, why is Frog was even giving him money, It's kind of crazy. And then, he's bragging, saying he knows me. We came from the same place, So I remember people that, was also hustling on the compound. I would tell them off rip, listen, if he comes to you for dope, don't ever front him nothing on my face. I had a couple people come down there or whatever, because he at first he'd ask me to borrow a couple things, oh, can you send a message to my peoples? And, they're going to send the money. You're the one that has the phone. When they send the money, you just keep the money, but if you can, just give me half of it now so I can, I'm trying to do. So, you know how it is. They try to talk you out of the shit, and then I don't even know if the people are going to send the money, stuff like that. So what he was doing is he would actually get some K2 from somebody, or some tobacco, or whatever it is he wanted, and he would tell him, man, I'm good for it, man. I'm going down there later, man. Trust me, man. Frog's gonna give me the money's going to Frog, and whatever story he gave them on Frog's face. Sometimes people will give him the dope. So I have people texting me from different parts of the compound from their cell phones, or I have people coming down there talking about it, acting like they want to collect, and I'll be telling them like, what? I don't know nothing about that. So I told them off rip, y'all do not front that boy nothing on my face. You feel me? So, next thing you know, one of these days I come in, now this is after a while when I done seen how he's carrying himself on the compound, Like I said, if he was someone from my exact circle, then, I'd do the best I can to make sure I'm there for him, I'm not going to let nobody bully him, not let nobody pick on him, extort him or anything like that. But he was more of, he wanted to just get high. So he put himself in a lot of situations that had to do with him chasing his habit. So, one day I come in my dorm, and he's in my dorm. As soon as I walk in there, he wants to talk to me. He's all out of breath. He's all, pacing around the way he's talking. He's like, Frog, my brother, da-da-da-da-da, and he's explaining, you feel me? He was African, so, they called him Africa when we were in prison. But that wasn't his name on the streets. His name on the streets was AK. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know, like an AK, you feel me? So when the AK's in there or whatever, and he's telling me, man, this and that, he's trying to talk to me. I'm like, man, what's up? What the fuck you talking about? He's like, man, you need to talk to your dog, this and that. So I'm like, what you talking about? Shout out to my dog Buck, you feel me? He was talking about one of my homeboys that, is actually a gang member, my homeboy Buck, that lives in my dorm. And what it was is, Buck had his scary ass staying in my dorm because AK was spooked, you feel me? I guess a pair of boots came up stolen or something like that by someone else across the compound, and it was someone that was supposed to give those to the GDs, and my dog was a GD. So since they didn't get it, he was saying someone stole them. It came back to where, okay, we're going to go after the person who stole them, and it ended up being AK, the person I knew from my neighborhood, So they literally went and got AK and brought him to my dorm, put him in my dorm and had his scary ass staying in there, you feel me? Telling him you ain't going nowhere until we find these boots, da da da. And he was in my dorm worried that they were gonna do stuff to him. He was nervous, he was scared. Obviously by him staying there and him not, you know, handling up and doing nothing to any of these people who were like putting down on him like that, shows he wasn't living like that. He's one of them people that, you know, just wants to get high. He'll tell you whatever to get it from you, and then he'll tell you whatever to get out of any type of physical situation. So when he's telling me, man, your homeboy Buck's tripping, this and that, I'm like, man, so I'm laughing at the shit, you know, because it's kind of funny, you know, because I already know what my dogs are capable of, you know, so I'm laughing at it. So then when my dog Buck come back to the quad, I'm like, man, what's up, bud? What you got going on? He like, nah. He like, man, I'm gonna have to bust him, Frog. I know he from your, I'm gonna have to bust him, you feel me? And I'm laughing, I'm like, bro, I'm saying, tell me what happened. He's like, man, one of my brothers was supposed to get paid a pair of boots by somebody, and them new boots came out stolen. And then someone else told me that your homeboy, Africa, sold them a brand new pair of boots. So next thing you know, we kind of find out that them same boots is the ones that were stolen from the person that was supposed to give them to my brothers. So I'm like, man, I said, look, man, you might as well just scare him, bro. You know he's shitting bricks, bro. He's already sitting here inside the quad. He's scared. He's nervous. He ain't even trying to leave. And then, mind you, in prison, you can't just sit in a dorm that long because they do counts. They come around and they count everybody. You get caught in a place you're not supposed to be, that's unauthorized area. You feel me? You go to confinement. So he was so worried that they were finna do something to his ass that he literally stayed in our dorm. Now, would it have been the right thing for me to do to call them off of him fully? I mean, I don't know really, because, you know, at the end of the day, he needs to learn from his mistakes. He needs to learn by going through these types of situations. If he doesn't learn by going through these types of situations, then his bid's going to be even extra long, extra worse. You know what I'm saying? And this is the dude now, when I was in the county jail and ran across him, I was asking him what prison was like when he did his first 5-year bid. And he was telling me. You know what I'm saying? He told me he fought a couple people, you know, shit like that. So I were in there and I knew how many times he tried to put my name out there, that he knew me and all this different stuff. I felt like it was only right that, you know, they scared him a little bit. I wasn't going to let them fully, you know, take him up through there, wet him up and all this different shit like that. You know, I would have been like, nah, look, bro, that's enough, bro. Just whoop him, if anything. You feel me? But my dog Buck and his other brothers that was in my quad, they fought with me so heavy that they wasn't going to do that anyways on the strength of me, you know? Because you think about it, even if someone comes from your neighborhood or comes from where you're from and one of your homeboys mess with them, you know your homeboys are thinking like, damn, it's kind of like an insult towards their homeboy because they know that he's from where he's from. You see what I'm saying? So they weren't really going to do nothing to him like that, but it was so funny. Like, I'm in the background, right? When Buck finally comes back to the dorm, and I'm waiting for him to approach AK. Like, man, you know what time it is? Smacks him. You know what time it is, bro? Where my shit at? Where my shit at, bro? You think I'm playing with you? What you think Frog finna save you? I said, man, what you do with they boots, AK? You feel me? Like, I'm playing in on it, right? He's like, man, I don't know nothing about no boots, man. I don't know nothing about no boots. He's still lying when the person that had the boots already told who they got it from. You feel me? So I'm laughing at how scary he was. Like, when my dog Buck smacked him, that boy AK went like this. He's like, I'm telling you, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. He was, and like, Buck wasn't even hitting him no more. You feel me? But it was the fact that you gotta help people learn, bro, before it gets too worse. You know what I'm saying? He's like, that's why your ass ain't leaving this quad. I bet you stay here till Thursday. And here it was like Monday. I bet you stay here till Thursday. That boy come talking to me at my bunk. He's like, Kfrog, my brother, man, I don't know how I'm gonna stay here till Thursday, man. They're gonna find me, man. They're gonna find me, man. They're gonna do count, man. They know I don't live in here. And this and that. You know, he's talking, he's African, so he's got that little accent, you feel me? I'm like, look, bro, you signed up for that shit. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have touched no boots that wasn't yours, you feel me? And he was denying it, lying to his face, lying to me, lying to them, and all that shit. And then after about 12 hours of him being in our quad, almost a whole day now, he made it through a couple counts, you feel me? Next thing you know, he was like, I didn't know they were blown to somebody. He started giving out more of a story to where he did take the boots. You see what I'm saying? And due to him lying so long, them boys literally wanted to like take him up through there and hurt him and harm him. You know what I'm saying? And I said, look, they were like, why, you want to do it, Frog? I said, nah, I'm not finna, you know what I'm saying? That shit ain't got nothing to do with me, you feel me? I'm just trying to make sure, you know, it sucks because I know his people on the streets, you know, and He knows my people on the streets, you know, but at the end of the day, he a grown man. He been to prison before. He older than me. You know what I'm saying? I can only do so much. And I did, you know. So I made it to where they wasn't really, you know, doing nothing bad to him. They made him, bring him to where, like the person who put him on to stealing the boots. See, what it was is, AK didn't actually mean to steal the boots. Supposedly, he did a transaction with somebody, and that person told him the boots and all this, to tell him to go grab them and all this shit. And when he went and grabbed them, he took the boots like that. And it ended up being that he stole them from someone else. The person he did the transaction with lied to him. And you know, when someone's chasing dope or whatever they're chasing, they're going to do whatever they need to do to get their fix. So his ass had no problem walking in there, going and grabbing a pair of boots that didn't belong to him because he thought he was doing what he was supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? In order to make it go through. So he actually like received the dope, which was already gone, and got rid of the boots for the dope, and did it like just a little middleman type thing on a pair of boots that actually wasn't the dudes who he was doing the transaction with belongings. You feel me? So then next thing you know, it all comes down to where, okay, he shouldn't have never grabbed the boots in the first place. You feel me? So my dog Buck painted him. You feel me? I told him, look, bro, you might as well line that shit up, AK, and then you'll be able to go sleep in your bunk, bro. You know what I'm saying? You might as well, because you see Buck really ain't trying to let your ass leave the dorm. Now, the whole time this is going on, me and Buck are going like behind the scenes, like in the open bay bathroom, we laughing about it. You know, we think this shit's funny. And he's literally like staring at the officer station and walking around all suspect. He's spooked. He thinks he's going to get caught and go to confinement. You know, because what it is the dope he ended up getting, I don't think he smoked it all. I think majority of it he had with somebody. And in his mind, he's trying to get back to that quad as quickly as possible so he could get high with them. You see what I'm saying? He's feeling like the longer I'm in here, the more chances that shit gonna be gone when I get out there. You know, that's what it was. So he was so anxious of trying to go over there. You feel me? But it was so funny because we'd laugh about it, and then we'd go around the corner. I'm like, you played, AK, bro. I don't know what to tell you, dog. You just be thankful, brother, that they're not finna wet you, bro, because I'm telling them not to wet you. You know what I'm saying? Just be thankful. And he's like, yeah, but they holding me hostage. They holding me hostage over here. I shouldn't be over here. Man, I'm about to just say, man, let them do whatever they do, man. I'm about to leave. So I'm like, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. You feel me? And then he'd be like, and he'd walk off like he's going to leave, and then he'd walk over there, and my dog Buck be like, hey, Africa, where you going? And he'd be like, man, I was going to the bathroom, man. I was just going to the bathroom. And he'd walk back, and he was scared of Buck, you feel me? So, you know, y'all know how it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we try to really scare the shit out of him because he shouldn't have been stealing nothing, you know what I'm saying? And he's lucky that it was in my dorm, in my quad, that my dog Buck was housed at. If there was housed somewhere else, just imagine, I would have never walked in, and whatever they were really going to do, they were going to do. But it happened to be my quad that they put his ass. You feel me? So it was like my dog purposely went and got him and made him come wait in our quad. You feel me? And then tell me about it when I came in. You know, of course he's going to play it off like he's mad at him, like he ain't going to let him see him laughing and all this different shit. Or he'll see him laughing with me, and then he'll look at him like, what you laughing at? You think it's a joke? And then AK be like, no, man, no, I'm not laughing. You see what I'm saying? He was scared. But at the same time, you know, you gotta let that shit play out. You gotta let it go through like that, bro. Because once we found out that it was a bad transaction on his end, he didn't mean to steal the boots, you know, we might as well ride out the joke as long as we possibly can. You know, it's giving us something to kill time in here, you know what I'm saying? We knew that nothing physically was going to be done to him, you know. At first it could have been, you know. They already had got the boots and everything, you feel me? But they wanted to take it out on him, you know, just to teach his ass a lesson. And I feel like me being there is what stopped him from actually doing it to him, you know. And it sucks to say that, you know, later on down the line, when I was in confinement, back there for Kfrogtv, never came back on the compound, got transferred 200-something days later. You know, AK found himself in another situation, owing people money and constantly not paying and doing all this different shit. And he ended up getting his whole face cut up, all different chunks and slices and shit like that. You feel me? He got tore up real bad, and there was nothing I could do to prevent that. I was in confinement, you feel me? And the people who tore him up wasn't nobody that I knew, because I had been in the box so long that, you know, people come all the time from different institutions, you know, and even with you on the compound, you're not going to be able to, you know, meet everybody and know who everybody is. That's even while you're on the compound. Being in confinement, you're out, boy, your ass is out of sight, out of mind. You damn sure ain't meeting everybody. You're damn sure not going to find out who's who, you know. So I just remember seeing him running in, his face, they had a bunch of like gauze and tape and all that on him, and they were bringing him in handcuffs. He got his whole face ripped open, playing with people's money. Now, Do I feel bad? I feel bad for him a little bit, you know, only due to the fact that I know how he is. You know, I know him. I know he don't mean no harm. He just has a habit and can't get over it. You feel me? But at the same time, hopefully, which I doubt it, but hopefully he learned his lesson from that. You know, but people that are like stuck in that type of, you know, lifestyle and mindset, even when bad things happen, not every time is it considered a wake-up call to change. You feel me? So the rest of the years he has in prison, he probably went to another camp, healed up, and started doing the same thing. And then after a while, when you start getting in the hole, you don't really realize it, that how bad it is and how serious it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, when I was in prison, I seen people get flipped left and right over this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's the first time ever that I seen someone being held as a hostage. Inside the dorm, literally. Like, and out of as much time that he was held hostage in our dorm, I'd say half of that time, my dog wasn't even in the quad. He was just so scared to leave the quad that he wanted to leave the quad. But when my dog would come in there, he'd tell him, come here, get over here, bro. You know what time it is, bro. Get your ass in the room. Like he would, you know, and then he'd look at me laughing and shit. He was just scaring him, trying to teach him a lesson. That situation right there could have changed his whole outcome of how he would have ended up being and getting wet later on if he would have learned from that situation between me and my dog, Buck. You feel me? But it didn't. So that just shows, you know what I'm saying? People ain't going to change overnight when it comes to shit like that. Some people get themselves put in situations don't even mean to. You know? I mean, damn, you think about it, bro. Like, if they wanted to, they could have really did so much damage to AK inside of the quad I was in. Literally, he was there 12 hours. They could have, like, beat him so bad, choked him with their belts. They could have did all types of shit, like hurt him, wet him up. They could have got him off the compound, which of course they didn't want to do that, you know, but they could have roughed him up for a long period of time, like a torture, like a real deal, you know, like a real deal hostage situation. You feel me? And then they could have put him back on the car and he would have ran back and, you know, because he didn't want to go to confinement. And after them doing all that, all his mind would have been on is the dope, where the rest of the dope is. You get what I'm saying? But these are the type of things that you can get yourself put into when you don't even mean to. You feel me? You'll do a transaction with someone and you don't even know that the transaction you're doing somebody with, you don't even know where that shit came from. Somebody brings you brand new t-shirts, brand new belt, brand new prison blues, food, which is canteen, brings you boots, Reeboks, New Balances, Nike Cortezes, any of that for a good deal. You don't know where it came from. You know, you might buy this shit and the next thing you know, people raise hell and start flipping dorms and quads and war breaks out amongst a bunch of different cliques and shit all over something that you just purchased. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody's looking at shit for the low. Everybody wants, okay, these shits are 50 bucks. Oh, he got them for 30 right now. I'm jumping on them. And they brand new. Them cocaine white Reeboks, them bitches ain't got no scuff marks on them. Shit, I call that, you know? And then when you find out they was stolen, then what? You want your money back, right? Well, the person who they were stole from, or the person who, you know, was missing them, they're not willing to pay you for those back. They don't feel like paying for their own shoes back. They feel like off rip, they're entitled and have the rights to it back because it was theirs initially, you know? But then now what? You're short on this money, right? So then it falls back on the dude that you bought them from, right? But it also falls back on a respect thing. You feel like the person whose shoes they really are is trying to overpower you by making you give them back. So then you'll be getting involved over a pair of shoes that is rightfully theirs, but you don't want to give them back to them because it feels like a put down. You see what I'm saying? Literally. Why they don't take it down and out on the person who sold them rather than you have to take it out on the person you bought them from. You feel me? That's how I look at it. So it could turn into a bad situation regardless. You know, because everybody's stealing shit trying to get rid of it. And sometimes people will take things, you know, just to sell it for some quick money. I've seen people come in dorms that weren't even theirs and sit down on bunks and take their Crocs off while sitting there blending in with everybody. They'll be removing the Crocs on their feet and putting on a brand new pair of boots or a brand new pair of shoes, and then they'll wait and they'll walk out when the door pops. Next thing you know, it might be a day or two that the person comes there and notices their shoes are missing. You're not noticing it because there ain't no stealing in here. You're not thinking about your shoes or your boots at that moment. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, when you do realize it, you don't know how long they've been missing. Then you start thinking that, oh, I just seen them earlier. They was just there, so someone just stole them. In all reality, they was probably stolen 3 days ago. You just never peeped it and realized they were gone. You see, that's how it goes. You feel me? And for AK, he had to get the shit end of the stick later on down in his bid. You feel me? But that's how it is, because I remember situations down here in my neighborhood that he was going through with people. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know, he'd always, you know, tell people, oh, you know, I need this, I need that. He'd give them counterfeit money, fake money. He'd run off with the dope, never come back. You know, like, you know, stuff like that. So he was already carrying himself like that on the streets from what I remember of him the last 6 years before I ran into him in prison. So I already knew how he was going to do his time. And it wasn't the same as how I'm going to do my time. My bid was going to be totally different than his bid. He's chasing a high, I'm chasing money. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. So, even though he was from where I'm from, I wasn't entitled to take care of him, to look after him at all. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was a homeboy of mine that's like my dog from my circle, someone that's literally from my area, my block and all that shit, then of course I'm rocking with him. I'm riding with him. No matter what he does, I'm involved with it. Unless he told on somebody or was fucking boys or some shit he shouldn't have did, then eat him. That's on y'all. He's dear me. Y'all can have him. I might help y'all then wet him over that shit. You feel me? But other than that, I'm not going to let no one put down on no one where I'm from. I'm not going to let no one, you know, extort them. I'm not going to let them jump them. If there's any way that I can help, I will help. But I'm not going to support your habit. I'm not going to let you use my face card to front shit. Because the next thing you know, it looks like I owe them people the money because they listen to a baser. Another word for baser, a junkie. You know what I'm saying? That's just real. You feel me? But I'll never forget, it was so funny, y'all, that boy was literally held hostage in our dorm and he was shitting bricks. He was so nervous, he didn't know what to do. He probably felt like he was gonna get flatlined. You know, he didn't know what was going on. His mind was stuck between the dope being gone, getting caught going to confinement, because then he knows damn right well the dope's gone, or getting flatlined, then he knows he'll never get dope again. You feel me? That's what was going through his mind. And if y'all would have seen his face and how scary and twitching and how spooked and fast he walked around and was all nervous and shit, then you would have seen from my point of view why I took it more as a joke more than it was of how serious it was. It was serious to him, but to me it wasn't. It was a joke to me because I knew my dogs weren't finna really, you know, take him up through there like they would have somebody else. You know what I'm saying? My dog even told me he purposely had him sit in our quad. Why you think I ain't have him? My brothers wanted to take him to their quad. Why you think we didn't have him go over there? Because I knew that, you know, you'd want in on this shit and we can try to teach him a lesson. You feel me? Which it made all sense. You know, like it did. Because if he would have got snatched up by one of the other GDs and got put in one of their quads, old Frog wouldn't have been in there and there's nothing I could do about it. Them boys, whether they respected me or not, they probably would have been like, well, is Frog going to pay that tab? Because at the end of the day, when money's involved, it don't matter who your friends are and who your dogs are. There's certain few that are, you know, are going to want that bread. You might got a homeboy of yours, you be like, yeah, I'll just get to you later or something, or, you know, they're really not going to trip. That's how you know when they're really your dog, you know. But then you got people that are cool with you, but the next thing you know, these boots got stolen and all this different shit and everything. You coming out, you looking at $80 over a pair of boots and all that. Them boys might be like, well, shit, is Frog finna pay that tab? If not, we finna wet him. And, you know, I'm going to be real with you. I ain't, shit, I probably wasn't going to pay that tab. Not for AK, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it would have been some type of way to where he was like cut off from everybody on the compound where nobody would serve him dope, you know, then maybe, yeah, okay, that $80 probably would have been a good investment because then I help him change it up a bit, you know, switch his bid around, you know. But he was just going to go right back in the same shit. And then he probably would have expected me to do it again and help him out and everything like that. You know, he would have expected anytime he got into some shit, man, I'm telling you, man, KFROG said, or just call KFROG. And, you know, and it would just got me in more and more shit, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like us scaring him was the right thing to do. And too bad it didn't help him later on to where his ass didn't get his face all ripped up and everything like that. And another thing about this, the reason that I wanted to speak on AK is most likely I will never see him again in my life. And the reason for that is he's got a hold on him, an immigration hold. So they're sending him back to Africa once he gets out of prison. You feel me? So I felt like, damn, I'll never see AK again, bro, unless I landed in prison and came across him before he actually gets transferred. But I know after he gets out of prison, he's going to go to this place called Chrome, and he's going to have to sit there until they, you know, extradite him. So they bring him back over there. You feel me? And last time when he did his 5-year bid, when he got out, he had to go sit there at the immigration place for a while until they let him out to come back to Davie. You feel me? And I remember him telling me that shit was like a 5-star hotel. I said, for real? He's like, man, it ain't nothing like prison, boy. You go there, boy, that shit's luxury. I'm like, nah. He's like, yeah, but this time here, he is going to be going back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I shared a story with y'all and let y'all know that that boy was held hostage inside of my dorm. And the good thing about all this, and on a plus side, is no one got caught at the time. Nobody got in trouble. Even AK made it out of the dorm safely after a while. Just scared the shit out of him. I think he lost a little bit of weight, you feel me, from how nervous he was while he was inside of our quad, though. You feel me? But other than that, you know, don't be taking no boots that don't belong to y'all. You feel me? Try to learn from this story. But anyways, man, I'm going to wrap this video on up. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all ever had any type of situation like this take place when you were locked up or seen anything like this go down during your experience of your bid, feel free to drop it in the comment section. Y'all know how we do, man. We keep it number real over here. Real spill every single time. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it when you first jumped in here. And always remember to keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, people with fake golds that rent rims on cars, clowns out your circle. Until the next time, this the one and only Frog.